Bro, stop what you're doing right now because the Full Send podcast might have just imploded. We're talking one of the biggest YouTube brands on the internet, tens of millions of fans, celebrity guests out the ass, and suddenly everything's in flames. It started with one wild guest, Benjamin Netanyahu. The internet exploded, and now it looks like Kyle straight up kicked Steiny off the podcast. Like, no joke, fans are asking what took so long. Kyle's acting shady, there's behind the scenes tension, and let's be honest, this might be the end of the Neelk era we all grew up on. Let's unpack it, break it down, and figure out whether this was just Steiny being Steiny, or if Kyle finally had enough. All right, picture this. You tune into Full Send expecting the usual, some wild stories, a bit of trolling, maybe a couple of happy dads cracked open. But instead, boom, you see Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, on the couch talking about Burger King. Yeah, while Gaza is literally starving and the International Criminal Court is calling him out for war crimes, the Neelk Boys are chopping it up about fast food chains. Dude, the whiplash from that moment was insane. Comment sections were on fire. TikTok blew up with edits calling it dystopian. Twitter was roasting them left and right. People weren't just mad, they were like shocked. This wasn't just edgy, this was being labeled dangerous. And Steiny, my guy was sitting there grinning, throwing in awkward questions like it was a press junket for a Disney movie. No prep, no depth, just vibes. Here's the thing about Steiny. Dude built his whole image on being that guy. The wild card, the awkward tension in every room, the one who would say the dumbest possible thing but somehow make the content pop. But during the Netanyahu interview, nothing. Silence. Not a peep about Palestine. No questions about war. He didn't even try to fake like he researched. He went full NPC. And that's when fans started realizing something was off. Even if Steiny's usually a clown, he does fill a role. But this time, he looked checked out, or worse, afraid. And that's where the theories began. Was Kyle pissed? Was this interview the final straw? So Kyle goes live days later. Camera on, comments flying, no editing, just raw. And bro was heated. He's trying to hold it together, but you can see it. The man's fried, the comments are tearing into them, calling them propaganda puppets, saying they sold out, and begging them to apologize. Kyle's just there trying to justify it all. He says, yo, we knew there'd be hate, but also, we're not political guys. And here's where it gets spicy. He starts low-key calling out his own team, talks about how they should have asked better questions, that they're not journalists, and how some people didn't step up.
He never says Steiny's name, but like, who else would he be talking about? Multiple sources, podcast insiders, creators close to the Neelk circle have said there was a massive behind-the-scenes meeting right after the Backlash hit. And what we're hearing? It got ugly.
So the Neelk Boys are not pro-Israel. They're not pro-Israel. They're pro-content. Okay? And that makes them 10 times more dangerous. Because that means they'll platform anybody. If Hitler was alive, they'd platform him. Right? Like, we get that yet? Why that is so dangerous? And this is why it's also so important to understand where you get your politics from or where you get your conversation pieces from, right? Because Neelk Boys are in the same conversation as Andrew Schultz. They're in the same conversation as Joe Rogan, right? They platformed Trump and all this stuff, and Andrew Schultz sat there laughing at Trump, right? While he's saying all this crazy shit, he's trying to do all this crazy stuff, correct? And that's why you need to watch who the hell you putting out there. Because the Neelk Boys, they're going to do this again. I hope y'all know that. They're going to do this again. They're going to up the ante now. Because, yeah, they got some backlash, but it wasn't that deep. They got money out of this, right? So, this is why you need to watch not only who your platform, who you're watching, okay?
Kyle allegedly sat Steiny down, told him straight up, you made us look like fools. No prep, no research, no awareness of how serious this guest was. And according to one guy who knows someone on the team, Kyle told him, you're done for now. Not fired, but benched, soft booted off the show. Yesterday, they released their episode with Bassem Youssef, and Steiny was getting absolutely cooked in the comments with numerous postings stating things like, if you ever feel useless, just remember that somebody spent time setting up Steiny's microphone for this podcast. Steiny not saying much the whole podcast proves that the only reason they had Bassem on is for damage control from the Netanyahu interview. Honestly, I'll give Kyle credit for at least trying. I think he's only doing it because of the backlash, but at least he's not being a coward, refusing to acknowledge his guest, and seemingly opening himself up to a different
different perspective. I used to like Steiny, but honestly his behavior here is pretty disgusting. And even worse, extremely cowardly. He ignores the many times Bassam tries to bring him in the convo, but has no issues chatting it up like besties with an international war criminal who is currently committing a genocide. Really shows his character. Look, we all know what Full Send used to be. Crazy nights, pranks, wild drinking stories. Guys like Steiny made sense in that world. It was raw, messy, and hilarious. But now, Kyle's clearly trying to rebrand. He wants world leaders. He wants political relevance. He wants Full Send to be on that Lex Friedman, Joe Rogan, Piers Morgan tier. And the first move in that pivot, cut the clown. Kyle's been hinting at a new direction for the pod. More thoughtful convos, bigger names, but less chaos. Less Steiny. It's like Full Send is going from drunk college roommate to startup bro who reads The Economist. After the firestorm hit, Kyle started doing damage control. He brought in names like Hassan, Destiny, Sneeko, Myron Gaines, just spinning the wheel of internet chaos, hoping something lands. Problem is, that only confused the audience more. Why are you going from Netanyahu to Manosphere, dudes? What are we even watching? And Steiny? Still nowhere to be seen. It's like he's been shadow banned by his own show. And at this point, fans are straight up asking, did Steiny get fired? Kyle hasn't confirmed it, but the silence is loud. After one brother. Let's talk about you guys, the fans, the watchers, the loyal Neelk army. The reaction's been split. Some people are saying, thank God Steiny's gone. He's cringe. He doesn't belong in serious combos. Others are like, yo, Steiny was the soul of the podcast. Now it's just dry. Comment sections are lit. Subreddits are having full-blown debates. TikToks are breaking it down like it's a courtroom case. And one thing's clear, this moment changed everything. Whether you're Team Kyle or Team Steiny, no one's pretending things are normal anymore. So if Steiny's really off the pod, what now? Here's the tea. He's been spotted in Miami partying. He's been hanging out with random streamers. Not a single word about the podcast. Some say he's prepping to launch his own channel, maybe do interviews his own way. Chaotic, unfiltered, full Steiny energy. Others think he's just laying low, waiting for Kyle to call him back. And honestly, that might happen. If views dip, if fans keep asking for the OG chaos, Kyle might realize he needs the troll to keep the brand alive. Because love him or hate him, Steiny brings something Full Send doesn't have without him. Pure unpredictability. This whole thing isn't just about one guy getting benched. It's a bigger conversation about what influencer media has become. You've got pranksters interviewing war criminals. You've got TikTokers suddenly acting like policy experts. You've got huge platforms being used for literal propaganda, and no one's checking facts. No one's asking hard questions. We're seeing what happens when clout chasers start playing journalists, and when the consequences finally hit. Full Send might survive this, or it might be the start of the fall. But either way, influencer culture just got a massive reality check. So yeah, Kyle Forgeard might have kicked Steiny off the Full Send podcast, and if he didn't officially say it, he's sure acting like it. Whether this is a short-term break or a permanent shift, it marks a huge change for the brand. And honestly, the Neelk Boys might never be the same again. Let me know in the comments what you think. Did Steiny deserve to go? Is Kyle selling out or leveling up? And most importantly, is Full Send cooked or about to evolve? Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.